You know, sometimes I feel like I'm in a cartoon and a piano's just gonna fall out of the sky and crush me. Anyways, so Saturday I was driving old beloved Suburban here, and the AC stopped blowing. While it was blowing, it started blowing crappy. I saw my voltage gauge drop, and the dash went dark. She barely got me here, but she got me here. Old trusty steed. Anyways, battery or alternator, which one is it, and how do we know? I'm going to show you how. All right, so you can see I had the alternator off, so I already know what's wrong with this. It's just because I've been doing this a long time and know the signs. So we're going to be using a multimeter, a Fluke. You can use one from the dollar store, or you can have a fancy one, or you can just get a decent one like I got. Anyways, we're going to check positive and negative on the battery. Now, a fully charged battery, about 12.2. So we're going to test the battery, and the battery's showing us 10 volts. Okay, 10 volts, and it's holding, and it's been 2 days. So that pretty much rules out the battery. Now, again, I did say 12.2. That's a fully charged battery. When your battery's fully charged, you want to see it at 12.2. So with that being said, while it's running, while the vehicle's running and your alternator's spinning via the belt, there's this little tab on the back, and it's usually covered up by something that looks like this with a little terminal. Now, while it's running, you ground your multimeter on the battery and touch the positive to this little pin. Now, an alternator that's working properly will be putting out 14.4. It'll overcharge sometimes. You'll see 14.6, 14.8. You don't really want to go over 15. It depends how dead your battery is. On these older, on the newer trucks, they specifically have a variable charging system. When it needs more, it puts out more. But yeah, so remember, 12.2 battery, 14.4 for an alternator. So if the vehicle's running and your alternator's not putting out 14.4, you could have a ground issue. Not likely, sometimes it is. The fuse could be blown, so the ECM tells the alternator to charge. There's a inline fuse or a fuse in your box called generator, whatever. That could be blown, and that could be why your alternator's not charging. Or you could just have an old beat up alternator that sounds like this, and it's time for replacement. So we're going to put an alternator on this, and the issues are going to be gone. Like I said, I've done this my whole life, so I knew which one it was instantly, because the way the voltage was dropping while I was driving. But yeah, we're going to get an alternator slapped on this and confirm my suspicion. Oh, shiny. All right, so we will have to jump start it because 10 volts is simply not enough to start this. Well, we're going to do that. Jump starter's going. Let's come on in here and fire her up, test our work. There you go. You can already tell 14.5. We'll turn this off just to verify. That is off. Okay, we got that hooked up, and we can see we've got the 14 volts I was talking about. So we'll call that a repair.